So next we're going to discuss the drugs that are going to treat hepatic viral infections. And from hepatic viral infections, I mean most commonly hepatitis virus that are identified as A, B, C, D, and E strains. And each have a pathogenesis specifically involving replication and destruction of hepatocytes. So these viruses are basically going to affect the liver and the cells of the liver, which are known as hepatocytes. The prolonged hepatitis, if not treated, can lead towards chronic hepatitis, and it can also lead towards cirrhosis, and it can also lead towards the carcinoma of the liver. So if left untreated, hepatitis can lead towards these 3 C's, you can say, as an mnemonic, that is chronic hepatitis, cirrhosis, and carcinoma. So the drugs that are going to treat all of them are classified as interferons, lamivudine, adefovir, entecavir, talbivudine, tenofovir, boceprevir, and telaprevir. So we're going to discuss about them one by one, so stick around with us. Well, first talking about interferons. Interferons are a family of naturally occurring inducible glycoproteins that interfere with the ability of viruses to infect cells. And interferons are of 3 types. 3 types exist of them, in which is alpha, beta, and gamma, and all of these types are going to be used specifically in certain kind of hepatitis. But if we generally talk about their mechanism of action, the antiviral mechanism is incompletely understood, but it appears to involve the induction of host cell enzyme that inhibit the viral RNA translation. That is ultimately leading towards the degradation of viral messenger RNA or transfer RNA. So basically, the translation of viral RNA is going to be inhibited. If we talk about the pharmacokinetics of interferons, they are not orally active and they are given intravenously, subcutaneously, or maybe intralesionally. Very little active compound is found in the plasma, and its presence is not correlated with clinical responses. And the metabolism is mainly done by liver, and kidney account for the disappearance of interferon from the plasma. So very negligible elimination occurs in the kidneys. So if we talk about the adverse effects, they include flu-like symptoms such as fever, chills, myalgia, arthralgia, and GI disturbances. Fatigue and mental depression are really common. These symptoms subside with continued administrations. So the principal dose-limiting toxicities are bone marrow suppression, severe fatigue, weight loss, and neuroimmune disorders such as thyroiditis, and rarely cardiovascular problems as well. Interferon may potentiate myelosuppression caused by bone marrow suppressive agents as well. So you need to look out for that as well. Next, we're going to talk about lamivudine, and it is a cytosine analog that is inhibitor of both hepatitis B and human immunodeficiency virus or HIV virus. And lamivudine must be phosphorylated by host cellular enzymes to the triphosphate form, and this compound competitively inhibit hepatitis B virus RNA-dependent DNA polymerase. So as with many nucleotide analogs, the intracellular half-life of the triphosphate is many hours, and it is longer than its plasma half-life. So they're widely distributed and they're used for long-term therapy as well. If we talk about lamivudine, it is well absorbed orally and is widely distributed. It is mainly excreted unchanged in the urine, and dose reduction are necessary when there is moderate renal insufficiency. Or if we talk about the adverse effects, the main headache and dizziness can occur with lamivudine. Other than that, there is no major adverse effects that are seen. Now, moving towards adefovir. Adefovir is a nucleotide analog that is phosphorylated by cellular kinase to adefovir diphosphate, and then it is incorporated into the viral DNA. So this leads to the termination of chain elongation procedure, and it's going to prevent the replication of hepatitis B kind of virus. The important thing of adefovir that you need to remember that it is given once daily. Discontinuation of it can result in severe exacerbation of hepatitis, and it is excreted renally, and nephrotoxicity with the chronic use can occur, and it can also rise the level of tubular secretion, and concurrent use should be avoided in the patients that have kidney diseases. So next is entecavir. And entecavir is a guanosine nucleoside analog for the treatment of hepatitis B type of infections, and it is effective against lamivudine-resistant strains of HBV as well. And the drug is primarily given orally, once daily dosing due to very much longer half-life, and it is excreted via kidney. And adverse effects include renal toxicity due to concomitant use. Moving towards talbivudine. Talbivudine is a thymidine analog that can be used to treat HBV infection. Talbivudine is phosphorylated intracellularly into triphosphate, which can either compete with endogenous thymidine triphosphate for incorporation or can be incorporated into the viral DNA. And ultimately, it's going to inhibit the chain elongation over there. And due to longer half-life, it is also given once daily, and it is excreted unchanged in the urine. And the dose must be adjusted in the renal failure patients. And the adverse effects include fatigue, headache, diarrhea, and elevation in liver enzymes and creatine kinase. So the next drug that we're going to talk about is tenofovir. It is a nucleotide analog, namely an acyclic nucleoside phosphate analog of adenosine 5-monophosphate. It is basically inhibitor of HIV kind of infections, and due to a long half-life, once daily dosing is preferred in them. It is excreted unchanged in urine, but it should be given very carefully in renal insufficiency patients. And the adverse effects include GI complaints that contain nausea and bloating. So this was all about tenofovir, and now we must discuss the other two drugs as well, that are boceprevir and tenofovir. Boceprevir and tenofovir are the first oral direct-acting antiviral agents for the adjuvant treatment of chronic HCV genotype 1. So it's going to inhibit the serine protease enzyme that is named as NS34A serine protease, and it's going to inhibit that enzyme, which is further going to stop viral replication in host cells. So both drugs are potent inhibitors of viral replication, and both of them can be used in combination with PEG interferon alpha and ribavirin. So if we talk about the pharmacokinetics, both of them are given orally, and both of them are given with non-low-fat food to enhance the absorption. The metabolism of both is done by liver, obviously, by the enzyme known as CYP450. Because both are strong inhibitors of these enzymes, they have potential for complex drug interactions as well. And the adverse effects include anemia, skin rashes, and anorectal discomfort in them. So we've just talked about the drugs that are going to be effective against the hepatic viral infections, most commonly hepatitis A to E. So stick around with us, because we're going to discuss about herpes simplex virus infections and cytomegalovirus infections and the treatment against both of these infections. So stick around.